Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. So today we are going, I'm going to do a demo on a tool called Wireshark. This tool is used for analyzing network traffic and checking what's happening on the network. Who are our devices communicating with? What are they communicating about? What did they receive and what did they give? So it's actually a handy tool when it comes to cybersecurity. Why? Because our computers or our devices communicate a lot of stuff, and at times they give way much information. At times they receive way much than they are not supposed to, or maybe uh they receive bombs in disguise or something of that sort. So it will help us pinpoint which device communicated what? What did that device give? What did that device receive? And was the communication safe? Okay. Did it give way much sensitive information? And to whom did it give? Who was it communicating with? And a lot of stuff. So if we go on our Kali Linux right here in our menu and you go on sniffing and spoofing, we'll see a tool called Wireshark. So it interactively dump and analyze network traffic. So we're gonna click that and it's gonna open. So Wireshark can work like live in live mode, whereby it is actively listening and seeing the communications and stuff. So I'll do an example with that. Sadly, I'm not on internet and I don't have internet access where I met, but at least I'm just gonna do something. You never get out of ideas if you're a cybersecurity person. So give me the honor to open my terminal, please. Thank you. I'm honored. So now here is Wireshark. So as you can see, it can show that there is something happening right here on on internet there and stuff, but there's nothing happening on the local address. So I'm gonna use the local address. So right now, if you double click that interface you want to sniff the traffic on, you can start seeing the communications happening right here. So I'm gonna just do a demo and I'm gonna ping myself, ping 127.0.0.1, and I'm going to give it a count of 10. You know what? I got a friend called Guy, and she is actually waiting to get something like 10 points or more. So let's just save it and put it at 10. Okay, and I'm gonna press enter. So now you can see the communication right here. So here, pink means that I'm asking whether this computer is up and running, and I'm probing it to reply to me. So I'm forcing it. I'm saying, hey, I want to talk to you. How are you? And he said, I'm fine. And you? And he said, how are you? I'm fine. And you? How are you? I'm fine. And you? So it goes like that. So it's something like a request and a reply, a request and a reply, a request and a reply, a request and a reply. So that's what a ping is. So a ping is just like taking somebody who wants to talk to somebody, but he doesn't have something to talk about, but just want to know whether that person is up. Maybe you just want to see that if that person is actively responding or something. Let's say someone was in a coma, and then you wake them up and you want to keep them as alive as possible. So you'll be like, hey, how are you feeling right now? And they'll be like, I'm fine. How are you feeling right now? I'm fine. How are you feeling right now? I'm fine. So that's what a ping is. But it just showed you an example of how it works, right? Yeah, at least. So now what I did is I downloaded a file. Let me first stop this capture, and then I want to open a file that I downloaded on the internet. and it has got some packets which are captured, and this is this one. So I don't want to save that, and there you go. So I said we can actually analyze traffic in real time, and at the same time we can record our traffic. Maybe you're a network analyst, you got something else to do, just leave Wireshark to see all that's happening on the network, and then at night, in the night time, you start sitting down to analyze the traffic and see what's going on. But we got a lot of traffic right here. We got a whole lot of traffic, a whole lot of it, and it's very mixed, and it's quite hard to work with something like this. So we need to organize it, filter out what we don't want, and get whatever we want. So here there are some columns which are very unnecessary for us. This is the default view, but we can actually edit some columns. For instance, I don't want to number my packets. I remove that. And also my time is in seconds and milliseconds, and that's not even impressive. So I just go on view, and I go to time and display, then I go on date and time, like that. So it's now written date and time between 14, 11, blah 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 blah. And maybe to make it a little bit, just put a little bit of space right there. And what else do I want? I don't want this info or the packet length. I don't care about the packet length. But at times it's very useful to somebody. But as for me, I don't want that. Yeah, choice is different, man. Choice is different. Okay, and then so what I'm gonna do right here, I want to add some things like wait, let's add some columns. So you got source and this destination, right? We can actually add, let's say something like we got the source address, so we also need the source port to see what port was it. So I'm gonna just say source port, like that. Just give me a little bit of space here. Yeah, and should be like space a lot. Okay, nice. And then I want some destination port right there, and this information is supposed to come from, okay, destination port, a source port. That's source port, right? Source port resolved, maybe. And then here I want uh destination port resolved, like that. And that's good, isn't it? And what else can we need? Can we? Nah, I don't want the MAC address. Nah, I'll just get it somewhere else. So I'm just gonna try it. Let me just apply this. Yeah, there you go. Wait. Oh, the drag and drop feature doesn't work anymore. Okay. And you can also change colors for different type of information, and you can even change the layout, maybe, I don't know, but that's actually good for me. And you can capture packets in monitor mode. You put it the default interface, and you look for some RSA keys. You can do a lot of stuff in here. And we got the statistics sector and stuff. Okay, let's go back here and let's do what the business is telling us to do. So right now I'm gonna take each and every port and put it next to its desired place, like the source port next to the source, the destination port next to the destination, and the protocols next to the, yeah, like that. So right now you got a lot of, so the thing is, after you do this, right, you want to have a statistics of what ports were, like what protocol was being used the most on the network, and maybe according to what you're looking for. As for me, these packets are, they contain some malware, right? So, and you know that malware comes when somebody downloads something that should be HTTP or HTTPS most of the time. And you can go here on statistics and you go on protocol hierarchy. There you go. So now we got some interesting things right here. You can actually see these columns. You got a percentage of the package, the percentage bytes, bits, and package, blah, 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 like that. So what's interesting here is that you can actually note that this person was using an internet. He was connected to internet, right? And yeah, there were less packets for IP version 6, and there were more packets for IP version 4. And then you can see that in the TCP layer, yeah, you used about 98.7% of the packets, the same that was used for IP version 4. And the transport security layer, the TLS, these were the TLS that you got. And for the hypertext, you can see that he downloaded a lot of stuff in HTTP, right? In hypertext transfer protocol, you can see it was percentage, it was 51.5% of the files downloaded, 50.4% were media types, some were links, and some were pictures, some were, yeah, it was 0.1, yeah, it stands for EML and all this stuff. So now this is quite interesting because you can see that the bits, like it was downloading at 15K, that was the maximum mode of like 15 kilobytes per second, and here the bytes something like the 1000 blah blah blah, and yeah. So we are interested in that, right, aren't we? So now we can actually say we want to only view the HTTP, right? That's the one that we want to see, because this is the one that downloaded a lot of stuff, as you can see here. So we can actually right click it and say apply as filter selected. So now we can just close. Now you can see that we only got the HTTP, right, isn't it? HTTP. And now this is quite interesting and quite handy on the fact that uh, you can actually see that this is the source 172.168.165, and this was the port, and the destination was that, and this was the port, and there was the HTTP blah blah blah. But there's something that's missing, right? What's missing? It's more like a phone book. I can know that Munashi Mada's phone number is 071 078 57 55794, but it's quite hard for me to remember that, because I got a lot of numbers in my phone book. So I save the number as Munashe Mada, and that's when the DNS comes into place, or the host, I don't know, whatever I call it, that resolves that. It converts the name that I saved into the phone number, which makes it easy for me to know which website was it. And that's what we want to do here. So I'm going to add a filter, and these filters are quite easy to edit and stuff. If you just put a dot, you see that all the other ones will what? They will just come. So I just want some request, HTTP request, like that, and just press enter. Now you got the HTTP requested only. So if you go here on hypertext, you're gonna see that you got a host right here. So this is the host. This is where the person or the computer is communicating with, right? So we want it to be a column right here, because it's very useful for us to know that this packet came from this host, this packet came from this host, and stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna right click it right here and say apply as a column. So now you can actually see that we have it as a column. Where is it? I can't see it. No, chill, you're gonna get some. So here is it, right? And I'm gonna pull it right closer to its mate, right there. So now this is interesting. Now we got this data now, which now makes a lot of sense. We know that the source was that, and the destination was that. Maybe somebody might consider to, yeah, might consider to add maybe the the MAC address. Yeah, maybe you might want to add the MAC address. You just do the same and apply as column and do the same as apply as column. Yeah, so wait, yeah, like that. Okay, so it actually helps, especially for you to know what device was actually talking, what is the device talking to, and who is it talking to. And you see, we got the source port, the destination. So the destination was that, and the source was that when it comes to MAC address, which actually helps for us to know where and which computer is it, because what makes the computers different on a network is the MAC address, isn't it? Yeah, it's the MAC address. Yeah, the IP address plays a role though. Yeah, it does play a role, and I really appreciate it. But I guess the MAC address plays a bigger role. Okay, now let's save it and let's dive to where we wanted to be. So now all this HTTP traffic, you can actually see that it was bing.com, it was that.com, it was adultbeast.com, that and that and that and that. Good. So now, Menashe, okay, we got this information, but you say that there's some malware in it. Where is the malware? We can't even see it. Wow, chill, you're gonna get some. So if we go right here at file, we want to export some objects, and we said the most downloaded objects were from the HTTP. So we're gonna just click HTTP like that, and it's gonna give us an overview of the files that were downloaded by the computer and what were like where they were downloaded from, something of that sort. So you know, malware comes in executables. So we want some applications or some executables are the ones which are highly susceptible to malware. So it's not only the application, but you can also get an Office file that has got a macro. You can also get a JavaScript file that has got a virus. But as for now, we're just gonna do this. We're just gonna get some application file. So you can just click on this filter content type, and it's gonna give you different content. So now I got all these files right here. All these ones, these are applications. This is a Java file, this is an MS DOS file, this is a Shockwave Flash file, and you got some images, you got some text, some HTML. So a lot of things are downloaded on the network. So what do we do with these? We save them. So you can actually see that this one, 10 kilobytes, you can just save it because we want to analyze it later, right? So we're gonna just go here in downloads, and then we're just gonna save it as java.jar. That's the extension for a Java file, right? And then you press enter. And for an MS file, that's a Microsoft file, right? So I'm gonna save this one. I'm gonna save it as Microsoft. I know as Windows dot executable. And for the Shockwave file, I'm gonna save it as Shockwave dot Shockwave file like that. But I don't know. I don't know the extension, man. I think I messed up a little bit, but no problem. It's not a hard thing that I did. Like I was supposed to save them in the downloads folder, but I just saved them right here, and it wasn't good, man. So I'm just gonna take these ones and put them in the downloads folder. Get in there. Okay, let me catch you guys. Replace all. like that. And maybe you might say, what if Manash, what if these files are not real? Hey, what if you're lying to us? So let's just get an image file like that, and we're gonna save it. Also, we're gonna save it to this extension, that's a JPEG file, right? So let's go to download. See, we don't have a JPEG file, and I'm just gonna save it by its name. Just press enter. So now the reason why you can see there are a lot of these applications, but I can see that their sizes are the same. That's why I was taking one on each and every one of them. But you can also look at this JavaScript file. Maybe there was an injection in the web browser, across, maybe somebody injected maybe with beef or something. So now, yeah, we are done with that. And for the meantime, yep, let's just wow, I forgot to show you this. Well, when you go here to export objects and HTTP, right? When you click on any file that you are interested in, it will show you the packet where the file was. So you see, if I click here, you can actually note that this cursor behind here is changing. It's locating where the file was. So even if you close right here, you know that the file is here, and this helps you now know that the destination, that was the firmware machine, blah blah blah, and the source of the file. And nice, you can see the transfer. You can actually see the source port, the destination port, the source address, the destination address. You can also see that right here, and yeah, it's quite interesting. So now let's go right there. Right, let's go to downloads. There you go. So let's open that picture. I want to show you that picture first. There it is, the picture that we found. Right, that's the picture that we found, that was downloaded. So it helps quite end, even if somebody download things you don't know, you just see them like that. Especially if it's HTTP, as HTTP is not encrypted, and you got a Java file like that. So what are we gonna do with these files, Menashe? And I said, sadly, I don't have internet access. But if you had internet access, you could actually take the hash of this file. Was actually first, yeah, passing the hash, something like that. No, there's some applications that help us to grab the hash of a file. So as for me, I used this code hash my files. It's a Windows executable whereby you just drop this. The reason why I use those hash, I just don't like, they're supposed to be uploaded at VirusTotal. Why at VirusTotal? VirusTotal helps you to analyze the file and see whether it's a malware or not. But you know what? If it is something like a macro or something that's very sensitive from the organization, if you upload it on VirusTotal, then you just sold out the whole company. But VirusTotal also gives an option whereby somebody can just upload the hash, or the hash is the signature of a file. Yeah, the hash is the signature of a file, and it just helps that you can hash and then you upload the hash, and then need to identify whether it's a malware or not, just using the signature or the hash. So that's what you would do with that. And yeah, that was interesting, isn't it? So this is how we do it with Wireshark. And I know even if you were a beginner to Wireshark, you'd actually hear, now you got a very deep knowledge of Wireshark. And if you want to be maybe a SOC analyst or maybe a network traffic analyst and something like that, you can just, yeah, you can just download some of these files. This one was for 2014. You can just download and then analyze it, and analyze those files. And guys, I'm so I'm so grateful that you just took your time to watch this video of mine, and I just hope that you take care. And yeah, Bye. There's a lot yet to explore, a lot to explore. Okay, thank you so much. I'm honored.